Hi guys, welcome back to the kitchen. I was at my wine today and I remembered that Cindy had requested that I do a little video. It's really difficult to do a wine video because it had to be done in a couple of steps and whatnot. The recipe I'm using today is for Danger Dave's Dragon Blood wine. You can name it whatever you want. Basically, it was made by a firefighter. He wanted a quick turnaround wine that tasted good, that had a higher alcohol content. So he came up with this recipe. I love the recipe, but I do find I have to double the fruit at least because I like a heavier bodied wine. I don't like, like a flat wine lacking flavors and whatnot. So I always double, if not triple, the fruit in the recipe. So to this big bucket, I have added 2 bags of sugar, a whole bottle of real lemon. You can substitute pineapple juice according to your flavor. You can also add 1.5, which is what the recipe originally calls for, but rhubarb is very tart, so 1 should be plenty. I added a teaspoon of tannin, which is what you get from the skins of the grapes and stuff. I don't normally like to add too much tannin. I think I might even went a half a teaspoon in there because tannins tend to give me a headache sometimes. And if you find when you're drinking red wine that you get a headache, chances are it's the tannin. Now, I also added 3 teaspoons of yeast nutrient and a teaspoon of yeast energizer. Stir, stir, stir. And then there was 3 teaspoons of pectic enzyme. And the pectic enzyme, I guess what it does when you're making wine and fruit is breaking down, sometimes if it's a high pectin, it can create like a haze in your wine. And yeah, we don't want that. So pectic enzyme, it is in the bucket. So then I filled my bucket up then to 23 liters. And now what I'm supposed to do now is add my 6 pounds of fruit. I have extra. I'm going to absolutely double this recipe, but I'm just showing you quickly one way. And then what I like to do when I siphon it over, lots of times when you get your wine into the carboy, you have like this much space, and space is a no-no because you don't want oxygen in your wine. So instead of topping it up with water, I like to top it up with more wine, so that way I'm getting full flavor. So that's why I'm going to double this again. So now I'm going to take my thawed fruit, and it was frozen, and most times put your fruit in the freezer. The freezer breaks the cell membranes down, it releases the juices, it just makes it better, way better. So I'm just going to start adding some fruit here. I have a mixture. There's some blueberries, probably 90% rhubarb, and I have some partridge berry apple. I had made, I guess, kind of like a pie filling or something a while back, and there was lots left over, so I just chucked it in the freezer for one. You can do that rather than throw it out. It's great. And I'm just going to keep adding here now, right up until I probably reach right to the very, like not to the top, but the top of the first ring. You don't want to fill it all the way up because as the sugar and the yeast and everything starts to work, it'll start to foam up, and you don't want a big, mess all around your house. It would go all over the floor and it wouldn't stop. So be careful of that. And I can see that some of my fruit is still frozen in here, and that's been sitting in there since, I don't know, 8 a.m. yesterday morning maybe? I think I can get one more in there. And this is strawberry rhubarb, so it should have a nice color. And then with a little bit of partridge berry in there. Now, that's about half of my bucket that you saw yesterday. And so what I'm going to do, I have another bucket like this, and I'm going to do the exact same thing with that. And And then what's going to happen is they're going to sit. Got some little foaming going on here. I'm going to stir, 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 stir. Now, if my bucket was bigger, I would absolutely add more fruit. But what, again, both of these are going to go into one carboy, maybe one and a demijohn, maybe. We'll see. So now what I have to do with that is check my gravity, which I probably should have done before I put the fruit in. I got everything clean and sterile. It's really, really, really important when you're making wine. I buy this, it's called sodium metabisulfite, and basically you mix it up with water and then sterilize everything with it. I just keep mine in a spray bottle and then spray everything down as I'm working. And again, this has a little tube that you would go in. I don't know where mine is, but I'm just going to put it in here and then I'm going to go down with my eye. Oh, my fruit's in the way. Hold on. There we go. So I'm at about 1.72, I believe. 1.072, and I needed to get it to 1.075. I can add more sugar for that, which I probably will add just a tiny bit, but you got to keep in mind that when the sugar dissolves from the fruit, it's also going to increase the alcohol content. I think what I'll do is just eyeball it a little bit more. So that was maybe about like 1.5 cups, 2 cups more. Stir, 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 stir. I need to think of a stirring song now too. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and have another check here now. Get the fruit out of my way. And really, this should absolutely be done with the little, I don't even know what the name of the thing is. I'll have to look it up for you. There we go. Okay, I'm just about there now. I'm going to leave it there. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take a really, really, really thin towel and I'm going to cover this. I'm not going to add any yeast or anything yet. In the morning, it's time to sprinkle my yeast on. You can, most people proof their yeast. You can sprinkle it on if you want, but if you really, really want to ensure that it works, proof it as per the directions on the packet. I'm going to put a little belt on here, a little heat belt, and that keeps it at the optimum temperature. You want to keep it around 68 degrees Fahrenheit or so, 68 to 80, I think it is, just to ensure that the yeast has the right temperature to work. Same as if you're making bread. If it's cold, it's not going to work as well. Yeah, so we're going to do that, and every day when I go in the room, I'm going to take the cover off, I'm going to give it a stir, I'm going to check the temperature, I'm going to check the gravity, and once that gets down to 1.000, I am going to put it in another, a big carboy, a big glass carboy, siphon that right over, and then I'll take the old yeast from that and make something what's called skeeter pea, which I really think is what this is. It's made from the lees of the old wine, and it gives you the most gorgeous, blush, beautiful wine. As most of you know, and you better bring me back your bottles. You're not getting any refills. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll come back, I don't know, a week's time, maybe 2 weeks time, and probably show you siphoning it over into the other one, or at least show you what it looks like when it's done. And yeah, and then that's going to sit for another bit. I tend to let my wine sit very long. A clear wine is a good wine, and if it's not super clear, I don't want to drink it. I don't know, fussy pants. But anyhow, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned a little something. And yeah, we'll see you soon with another video, please God. Okay, have a beautiful day. Bye.